of the Boeing 737 MAX. Norwegian has 18 of the affected aircraft which cannot fly while investigations continue into how two similar planes belonging to other airlines crashed recently, killing 346 people. Well, the sourcing of alternative aircraft could cost Norwegian £45 million this year, adding to its other financial headaches. Well, let's get the thoughts now of Loizos Heracleous, who's an expert in the aviation industry and a professor of strategy at Warwick Business School. Thank you very much for joining us, Loizos.
Thank you.
Norwegian is not the only airline affected by this, of course. We've heard recently, just in the last few minutes, from Southwest Airlines that the grounding of the 737 MAX could cost it somewhere in the region of £130 million this year. But looking at Norwegian, it really is compounding its other kind of financial woes, isn't that right?
Yes, of course. Norwegian's aircraft, about 10% of its fleet is the Boeing 737 MAX. So that's creating significant problems. But it's really not the root of its troubles. The root of its troubles is too fast growth and a huge debt. So the gearing ratio of which is total debt over equity is about 22. So it has 65 billion Norwegian krona in debt. Its equity is only 3 billion, which is about 270 million pounds, which is the same amount as was raised last month in a rights issue. So to put this in perspective, if the rights issue did not take place last month, Norwegian Air would have no equity.
Yeah.
So that is the root of its troubles. Long-term, financially unsustainable situation.
We know they've flooded the transatlantic market with low-cost seats in the last few years, and that
Yes.
they've been scaling back on that capacity in more recent times. What more did we learn about the problems that's incurred there in today's results?
Well, the low-cost long-haul model is a great idea from the customer's point of view. I've taken the flight last week and I really enjoyed it. But from a financial point of view, it does not seem to cover the costs of the airline. And Norwegian is doing the right things right now to try and stem the losses. They are deferring capital expenditure, they are restructuring their routes, they are reducing costs, they are growing more slowly, and hopefully this will help. But if there's no other cash injection over the next year, it will be in big trouble.
What about the future for Norwegian? Because we know that IAG, the BA parent, tried to buy it recently. Its offer was rebuffed. Can it remain standalone? Will it remain standalone in your view?
It's very difficult. Anyone who wants to buy it has to accept the debt, which is about 6 billion UK pounds. And even if Norwegian starts making profits, it will in the longer term have to somehow pay off that debt. And so it's, my view is that it's in a precarious situation.
Looking, Loizos, at the wider issue of the subtext to all this, Boeing, the 73 MAX grounding, we heard yesterday from Boeing that it's costed $1 billion in the past quarter.
Yep.
Ultimately, add that to whatever compensation which might ultimately be payable to airlines and, of course, families of the dead, and ultimately it could be a lot higher than that.
Yes, it could, but Boeing will be fine. It's part of a duopoly at the moment. Boeing and Airbus don't have any significant competitors. They do have a full back order book. They do have a queue of customers waiting for their planes. Boeing will be fine in the longer term.
Okay, Loizos Heracleous, thank you very much for joining us with your thoughts today.